This next piece is from my penultimate sci-fi epic, Space Vixens from Mars. Not only a series of novels, but also a series of adventure games, played at clubs and conventions throughout the UK with exquisitely painted 25mm miniatures. See website for details, as they say. This extract, Planet Karr, is from episode 18, Republic in Peril, which is also available as a screenplay. Planet Karr, a desert world in Leylandi growth space. January 26, 2535. In arrowhead formation, 7 figures walked down the underground corridor of a brightly lit base. Each wore a hooded grey cloak, their black leather boots resounding on a polished floor as they moved in perfect step. Together they rounded the corner to where a solitary Leylandi sentry stood guard outside a cell. "Hawk, who goes there?" it challenged the tip of the arrow. "You will turn your prisoner over to me." Removing her hood, Chief Space Vixen Melody Jackson spoke in her native West Virginia accent. "On whose authority, human?" the sentry mistrusted. "Check your superiors if you don't believe me," returned feigned innocence. "I shall." The Leylandi reached for its wrist comtag. Before it could speak, the Vixen's 2IC, Yoko Kurosawa, had drawn her blaster and stunned it. "Technically, we're supposed to give a warning before we open fire," the very English Hannah Smith observed. "Ach, it's only stunned." German Helga von Schleicher was her usual dismissive self. "Get to work," Melody ordered the chatter cease. Inside the Leylandi cell, forlornly alone, sat Galandan scientist Professor Land. As the door unlocked, he perked up, assuming it was mealtime. "Professor Land?" Melody removed her cloak to show her uniform underneath, as did the rest of her unit. "Commander Melody Jackson, Martian Self-Defense Force. We're here to rescue you." "The Space Vixens from Mars?" The professor was astonished, but happy. "Technically, we're Special Unit Number 1, but it's nice to have fans." Vixen, seated to side, deployed her ironic English-Indian accent. Just then a comm panel buzzed outside the cell. "Sacre bleu!" French Vixen Marie-Claire Lacroix swore. "A check-in!" "Mandela's ghost!" South African Shona Mabenga sought delay, answering the comm panel by loud static noises, whilst the other Vixens charged their blasters in preparation for a hasty getaway. "That won't hold them for long," Yoko's fatalistic Japanese tone resigned. "My research!" Professor Land exclaimed. "They've copied it already!" "But you have the originals?" Melody physically urged him up. "All in here!" The aged professor tapped his antenna. An alert buzzer sounded. The underground base was coming alive. Humans shielding the professor, the Vixens emerged from the cell, blasters primed and ready to run the gauntlet of corridors back to their ship to escape. But Land was slow, so Sita, Shona and Helga carried him as the fastest method of locomotion. So far so good. They reached a windowed corridor which showed the desert world outside. And it was a trap. Several Leylandi were lying in wait and, as the Vixens came into view, opened up with blaster fire. The result was inevitable, a gun battle. The escape bid stalled. "It's no good, Commander," the embattled Yoko suggested. "We'll have to rush them." "Yeah," Helga endorsed. "They're lousy shots anyway." "Okay, let's go, girls!" Melody nodded agreement. Leaping up, blaster-pumping shots, Shona shouted their battle cry, "Justice, Mars and St. Kylie!" as, shielding the professor, the Vixens charged down the corridor towards the airlock, felling Leylandi like wheat before a scythe, miraculously surviving. Now it was their rear that most needed protecting. As the gun battle continued, Hannah desperately punched into an access port, but nothing happened. "Don't tell me you've forgotten your code," Sita admonished. "Patience, Sita, patience," the youngest Vixen forced herself to remember. "I'm a little nervous about the day after tomorrow, that's all." She tried again, and this time the door slid open to reveal the high-tech interior of MSDF Amazon, the Vixen's customized spaceship. Instantly Marie rushed to the pilot's seat to power up the systems, while Sita settled the confused professor into his seat. "Are you sure this is safe, Lieutenant?" he worried, Hannah, Melody and Shona moving to action stations as the outside gun battle continued. "We do it all the time," Sita appeased. "Thank you for flying MSDF Airlines. You may experience some turbulence." Back in the corridor, Yoko and Helga felled more Leylandi before dramatically diving through the airlock, just as it closed behind them. All aboard? Melody demanded, all 6 others quickly reporting in. Miss Lacroix, take us out, flank speed. Aye, Commander, lifting off, Marie confirmed as breaking dock Amazon slid into the sky, only to be rocked by a terrible explosion. Allez, chérie, vite, vite, Marie cosseted her ship upward, up and away into the wide blue yonder, the clear atmosphere of planet Karr, all the time reaching for the sanctuary of space. But real life is never like the movies. Blaster bolts zipped past the Amazon as it climbed for orbit on full power. A pursuing Leylandi fighter, luckily the only patrol, scored a direct hit but was zapped by Shona's defensive blaster, exploding in flame 8 miles high and coming down. Got him! The Vixen triumphantly exclaimed, as damaged but spaceworthy, the Amazon stepped through the stratosphere to enter hyperspace in a swirl of psychedelic colours, the alien world far below and far behind, course set for home. Home being planet Mars in the Sol system. Another victory scored for truth, freedom, and democracy.